Okay, welcome everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order, that being the regular council meeting of Warwick Township Council, November 24th, 2025. And as always, start time is 3:30. I'll ask council, does anybody have a disclosure of pecuniary interest or conflict of interest at this time? No, seeing none. If you do, please declare it at the proper time. I'd like to welcome everybody who's joining us through our Warwick Township YouTube link. And now I'm going to do the acknowledgement of ancestral lands. We acknowledge that the Township of Warwick is located on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, as well as the many Indigenous nations in Ontario whose footsteps have marked them for centuries. We also wish to acknowledge that we are situated on Treaty 29 and Treaty 25 territories signed by Chippewa chiefs, and we offer our respect and gratitude for these lands. Let's go to 5 on the agenda if we could, council. And that's the minutes of the November 3rd, 2025 regular council meeting. Did anybody have any questions on those minutes before we go further? If not, I would entertain a motion if council saw fit. Councillor Manning is making that motion, seconded by Councillor Morris. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And there's no other business arising, Madam Clerk? Thank you. Council, if we can go to 7 on the agenda, 7A, scheduled meetings and events. If anybody has any questions on any of those, if they could bring it to the attention of the clerk, it would be appreciated. And 7B, basically the same. It's an FYI, unless anybody has any questions or comments on that at this particular time. Does anybody? Yes, Deputy Mayor Kallenberg.
Do you want a motion to remove the December 1st meeting now or at a later date?
That is fine. We have just so everybody understands, there's a scheduled meeting, a special meeting for next Monday. And in talking to staff, we don't have an awful lot for that meeting. So just for having a meeting for the sake of having a meeting a week after this meeting, that would be appropriate. Councilor, our Deputy Mayor, are you making that motion to cancel the meeting on the 1st?
Yes, I am.
Very good. Do we have a seconder? Councilor Westgate? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, for doing that. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go if we can to number 8. We have 8A is council commitment dates. Does anybody have anything they wish to update? Councillor Morris. Thank you, Councillor. Anybody else have anything they wish to add to that list? No? Okay, as always, if you have something you want to obviously bring forward and put on that list, just let the clerk know. Thank you for that. We're going to go to councillor items and verbal reports. Normally I go around the table and I usually ask every councillor and then I go last, but if you guys are okay with it, I'd like to go first this time. So everybody knows, and it's very fresh in all of our minds, that there was a weather event on November 10th. We got about 14 inches of snow, really quick, bad weather, lots of motor vehicle accidents in the community, jackknife trucks, the whole 9 yards. And our public works team was ready to go. And they have a team of 5 individuals. I want to make it clear that's how many people that were available. Our part-time staff or our seasonal staff wasn't supposed to start till a week later, from what I understand. And they did a sensational job of dealing with the weather. One of the situations and the issues that's come up in the community is about snow removal on sidewalks. And the policy in our community always has been roads come first. They're our number 1 priority. We're mandated to look after the roads. And as I want to mention, we have 220 kilometers of road in the Township of Warwick. So the guys did a very good job. I actually called out and thanked them for the job that they did. But unfortunately, we have people in the community that were upset because sidewalks weren't done the next morning. It comes down to a matter of timing and regulation. The guys can work 13 hours and then they have to take time off and rest. That's mandated by the province. Sidewalks have always gotten done once the roads are done. And again, I'll go back to the fact that we have 220 kilometers of road. Roads are our priority. After roads are done, the sidewalks get done. So I want to make that very clear. There was also some comments made about our lack of quality when it comes to clearing the sidewalks after it was done. And I'll be very honest with you. I'm not the kind of guy that wants to engage on social media and get into it with people, but some of those claims were false. And in doing a little investigation, we found that some of those issues were contractor issues for some of these buildings and companies that actually service, they farm that service out to get it done. Again, we had a lot of snow fall in our community rather quickly. You don't get snow falls like that so quickly very often. So I just wanted to put that out there that we do take our responsibilities very seriously about looking after the roads, maintaining them so your family members and our family members can get around. I can't say a big enough thank you to our guys who went out and did the job. We also have one of our plow trucks go in the ditch. Just seems like when you get a weather event like that, whatever can go wrong does go wrong. And I want to assure the residents that when it comes to sidewalks, we will get to them, as we always do. But we'll get to them once the roads are cleared. So I just wanted to make that very clear. Also, on social media, the municipality put out a statement along with the bylaw. And the bylaw says that you have 2 hours to clear your sidewalks. We all realize in this room that that's very, very tough to do. A 2 hour window is not doable in many cases. I'll be very honest with you. I didn't have mine cleared in 2 hours either. I have a guy that does it for me, that I pay to do it. And we realize that. And we are reasonable people. And I just want people to realize that we've never ever laid a fine ever that I can recall when it comes to sidewalks and having to be cleared in 2 hours. So I just wanted to comment on this because again, our guys did, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, they did a very good job. Roads have to come first. Sidewalks will come second once the roads are done. And I think maybe I'll open this up now. I know that Councillor Manning has been talking to me about this a little bit too. And maybe I'll turn it over to you, Councillor Manning, if you don't mind.
Right, yeah. Thank you, Mayor Case. The one thing I want to address is what you touched on there too, was the bylaw. And I know looking at the bylaw and a lot of people discussing the bylaw, that there does seem to be a few issues in there that we could possibly review as a council. So I'd like to make a motion that we lift that bylaw and open that bylaw back up for review in a future date. And, give us a chance to review it and then possibly discuss it and hopefully make some changes for the better on it.
Councillor, do we have a seconder to that motion? Councillor Morris, could we put a date on that? Because again, we're into the season now. But the 15th work, Madam Clerk? Again, and I'll ask this to Kyle as well. Kyle, do you think you could bring back something and we could discuss that at that time? Do you feel comfortable doing that with that timeline?
Yes, we can support that timeline.
All right, thank you. I'm going to call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Yes, please. Councillor Manning.
I just request the staff send us all out in an email, a form of that, all the form of that bylaw, so we can have time to review it too. Just make sure that we don't miss anything on it while we discuss it.
Thank you. I'm sure that the clerk will have that out along with the agenda, so we have time to look at it before the meeting. Okay, now I'm going to bring us back on track here. So I'm going to go around the room now. That's my piece over with. Councillor Westgate, did you have anything for today?
I have nothing for today.
Councillor Morris?
Just one thing, I heard there's another accident at the corner of Nauvoo and Confed, another car accident. I'm getting a lot of questions how Wyoming got a set of lights at Confed and Oil Heritage, and we have nothing. Now, I know we had in the budget, we postponed some turning lanes working with the county, but I'm wondering if we could talk to the county, if staff could talk to them and find out, can we get a set of lights? Well, how did Plimpton, Wyoming get them and we are not eligible for them, please?
Who wants to speak to that, Trevor or Kyle? Which one? I'll leave it up to you guys.
Oh, thank you. So we are currently working with the county on our intersection, Nauvoo and Confed, to for the turning lane improvements, but also an updated traffic study to see where we are on the criteria for warranting or not warranting signal lights at our intersection. I can bring back a report on what is the specific scenario in Plimpton, Wyoming. I don't have that at the top of my head, what criteria they met for their lights.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll take that as direction to Public Works. Everybody good with that? Very good. Deputy Mayor.
I have nothing this week.
Councillor Manning.
Yeah, I'd like to take this chance to just mention the Horticultural Society had their home tour this weekend. And I want to thank them because they gave the township and my historical committee a chance to showcase our museum in that tour. So it was good. It's always good to showcase anything like that. We had a lot of people walk through. It looked like it was quite successful for them as a fundraiser. But it's always nice when you see new people that are for people from this town, but the first time they walk in and they didn't realize what we have sitting there. And I'd like to take the chance to thank the volunteers from my committee too that did an excellent job in the decoration of it as well as running it for the weekend. So thanks to everybody involved.
All right, well, thank you very much for that, Councillor Manning. That's sensational. Okay, so now we're going to move on, and there's no staff items from a verbal standpoint today. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to delegations, and we're pretty much right on time. That doesn't happen every day. So our first delegation today is Mark Stedman and Ross George, and they're here today to talk about the Child Care Center in Watford. This is exciting news. Gentlemen, would you please come up? And we'll get you up here, set up at the corner here. This is a very positive thing for our community. We are very much short of childcare spaces in the community, and there's been an excellent relationship with the municipality and the county of Lambton and with these two gentlemen in trying to resolve this issue. And this is very much a good news story. So welcome, gentlemen. I'm going to turn the floor over to you and let you guys make your presentation or your comments. Thanks for coming.
Marvelous. Thank you, Mayor Case, for having us today, and members of council. Same to you. We're very happy and excited to be here. This project has been a long time coming. The better part of 2 years since we first connected with Watford United, and our partners with the County of Lambton have made it possible. So Mark and I were not strangers to this line of work. This is not our first project. We have done two projects in St. Clair Township, one in the village of Brigden and one in the village of Courtright. First one being a former Masonic Lodge Hall that we renovated and converted to childcare space. And then in Courtright, we also did worked with a United Church there and utilized some space to provide childcare to that community. A month ago, we met with the folks in Plympton, Wyoming to announce a project there that we're doing with Wyoming United. And today we're here in Watford doing the same. So as you can see on the screens in front of you, this is one of the latest concept floor plan for Watford United. So the portion of their building that is the Christian Education Wing, as well as the parlor off the side of the sanctuary, that portion of the building is going to be repurposed and renovated into childcare space. There will be 2 childcare rooms, one accommodating 16 children and the other one accommodating 24. Between the 2 rooms, and that represents, how many spots? 24 and 16 is 40. So 40 children every day will be supported through this facility. Quite likely more than 40 families because not everybody sends their children every day to daycare. So the spin-offs and the support that this center is going to bring to the community is going to be huge. It's being operated by North Lambton Childcare. They already have, as you all know, a couple of centers locally, and this will be a big center pin for their operation here in Watford and the community of Warwick as a whole. In addition to what you see on the floor plans in front of you, there's also going to be outside playground, outside play space. That isn't depicted on the floor plan, but the majority of what is presently grass around the Christian Education Wing will be converted into childcare playground. This playground will consist of a couple of small hills, sandboxes, not playgrounds in the sense of large play structures. Nothing really permanent. It'll be designed to fall in line with what the Ministry of Ed recommends, and it'll be all centered around the little guys under school age. This center will be licensed by the Ministry of Ed. So there's multiple levels of government that we work with in doing these centers. The County of Lambton Building Services, of course, and the Ministry of Ed. It'll be licensed by them and then operated by North Lambton. Presently, the food bank operates out of that building and has for quite some time. When we first connected with Watford United, the food bank is a big part of their ministry and what they do with that building. And it was important to Mark and I that continued. The area of the building that we're using for childcare space is unfortunately the area, or fortunately the area, that the food bank also uses and has used. So we have met with the food bank, and we've developed a plan to relocate them to the basement of the sanctuary, the basement of the church, in a new space that will be designed and constructed for the food bank specifically. So the layout of the refrigeration and freezers, countertops, shelving. We're working with the food bank folks to make sure that the new space is going to be more functional than what they have, and it's going to continue to support that organization into the future. So our architect and the folks at the County of Lambton don't have any issues with having the food bank there. There's some design factors that we're able to make work with the building the way that it's situated. So it should be a good news story and scratch just about all of the itches that there are.
So gentlemen, maybe just the other piece about the church and how they're going to be able to continue on as well with the building, if you wouldn't mind just informing people how that's going to work, just so people realize that that continues on as well, if you don't mind.
So as you can see with the floor plan, the sanctuary as a whole is not going to change much. Watford United will continue to meet and hold the services that they always have. And that will happen post-construction, as well as during construction. We'll be working with building services to make sure that the provisions are in place, that the building will able to remain occupied through construction. So by no means is the church closing. They're just pivoting a little bit and seizing an opportunity to offer the building back to their community to serve more families.
Well, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for making this investment in our community. It truly is a win-win-win. The church wins, the food bank wins, and the young people and the families in our community win. So I really appreciate this, and I've appreciated the discussions we've had leading up to this. And again, I want to make sure that I thank the County of Lambton for all their hard work and diligence in this as well. We are underserviced, as I said at the start. And we got some good news, not that long ago, about 18 new spots, which got eaten up really quickly. And you're projecting 40 new spots in the future. So this is really, really good news. So again, I want to thank you on behalf of the community for investing and, obviously putting this service that's very much needed in our community in place. And like I say, we all win. Everything stays status quo to a certain point and we get those extra services. So did anybody else have any questions? Councilor Morris.
Yeah, I got a couple here for you. With the food bank, you've got a walk-in fridge by others. Now, is that something the food bank has to raise money for, or is it something you're providing? Is it something council can help with?
Thanks, Councillor Morris. So that one of the brainstorming sessions that we had with the folks at the food bank, the walk-in cooler was kind of on their list of if it's possible. I was very receptive to that idea. It's logical to me, and I think it'll function a lot better for them. The walk-in fridge is on their list, and also the other thing, and it's not clearly depicted here, but if there is a lift of some sort that we could perhaps incorporate to help move groceries up and down from the lower level to the foyer, those are two items that are high on their want list. And we're hoping that we can, when the time comes, we can work with the municipality and see if there's some support for one, hopefully one of those items, if not both of those items. Or perhaps with the food bank folks, do some fundraising to see where we can land. But from our perspective, with the building as a whole, those are two items on the want list, and I'd like to be able to give both of them to the food bank. But definitely one, if not both.
Thank you. The other question was, looking at your design here of the food bank room, knowing that there's gonna be some carrying involved here. You've got the doors facing the west side. Would it be possible to put one on the north side so they don't have to walk so far? On the existing, I think it's called new interior walls and doors.
Yeah, certainly. The locations of the doors, they're not set in stone by any means at this point. This is the second version of the floor plans that we're working with. And that feedback from the food bank is what's going to dictate the placement of the doors. I know we had also talked about some prep counter space and some cabinetry installed. And I'm going to guess that depending on where that's going to sit will also influence where the doors will be best located. So, yep.
One more quick question here. I've been asked, since this rumors have been out about this for a while, are you subsidized at all by government to reduce rates for families with low income?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, George and Stedman Properties, Mark and I, we take care of the bricks and mortar side of it. We're, at the end of the day, we're landlords. We deal with the building, and make sure it's up to par, for the operator. So, we're grateful enough to have a couple of representatives from the County of Lambton, the Children's Services Department, as well as North Lambton Childcare here with us today. And if I could, I'd like to turn that question and any others that council might have over to those folks. I think they're better suited to answer than me.
Thank you.
What we'll do is I'm going to ask if anybody has any more questions for the gentleman first, because we have to bring some other people up here to the microphone so we can obviously broadcast it properly. Did anybody else have any questions of the two gentlemen today before I bring up the county folks to answer that question? I can always shift people back and forth again. Okay, so then I would ask for representation from the County of Lambton to come forward to maybe shed a little bit of light on what was just stated. So whoever would like to come up. We'll just do a little shifting here. Thanks, gentlemen. Hello, welcome. So anyways, what I'm going to do, folks, is I'll turn it over to you to make a comment. And if there's any other questions, we can entertain those as well. So welcome, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Case and Council, for having us. I'm Kim Godin, and I'm the manager of Children's Services Department with the County of Lambton, and with me.
I'm Brad Wilska, and I'm a supervisor within Children's Services Department.
So to answer your question, the Canada-wide early learning and childcare agreement with the province, the federal province, and with us locally, they outline the fee reductions for low-income families with our fee subsidy program. We deliver that program internally, as well as set the parental rates. So we ensure that all the children's services providers have those rates appropriately. So they submit their parent fees to us, and we ensure that it's aligned with the provincial guidelines. Does that answer your question?
Thank you very, very much.
Do we have any other questions from our friends of the county here today? Seeing none, you're gonna get let off easy. Again, I'd like to thank the county for all they've done to help put this together. I mean, from the start to even where we are now, starting off with the 18 additional spots. You guys have been so helpful. It's just a matter of communication at the end of the day and talking to each other. And then, gentlemen, we're very grateful for you investing in our community. You have a proven plan of success, and you're making these announcements in neighboring communities such as Plumpton, Wyoming as well. So we thank you for investing in our community, investing into our future and our youth. So on behalf of council and behalf of the township, I'd like to thank everybody for this very, very big announcement today. And we're just so thankful it works for the church and it works for the food bank too. So thanks for all that cooperation. So unless there's anybody else in council wants to make a comment? Very good. Well, thank you. We look forward to working with you guys. Thanks very much, folks. Appreciate it. Okay, council, I'm going to take us back to our delegations. So we have 10B and we have Sarah Room with us today. She's the CAO of Community Futures, of Lambton. And she wants to talk about her BizLink program. If you wouldn't mind coming up, please. Sarah, so we'll put you over here and so welcome, Sarah. What we do here is we're a pretty informal group at the end of the day. So what we're going to do is turn the floor over to you to make your presentation. And all you need to do is push the button on the microphone and that'll take you live and you're ready to go. So welcome and go ahead and make your presentation. We'll just make sure the microphone's on, Trevor, if we could. Thank you.
In terms of advancing the presentation. Okay,
Tell me when.
all right, I'll let you know when. You can go to the first slide now. Mayor and Council, thank you all so much for allowing me to come before you today. I thought I'd just take a wee minute and for context, make sure that everybody knows who we are. Community Futures Lambton is one of 260 odd Community Futures organizations across Canada. That's what that slide is for. We are a nonprofit corporation with operational funding from the federal government. You can change. Here in Western Ontario, there's 20 offices, and that becomes important for you to be aware of up the road. But the way Community Futures is structured in Canada is there's Eastern and Western Ontario, Northern Canada, Eastern Canada, and Western Canada, and we each have individual associations. So what you see up on the screen represents all of the Community Futures offices in Western Ontario. You won't find Community Futures in London or Kitchener or any large centers. We exist to serve populations of under 100,000 in a rural environment and to support small and medium-sized businesses in those environments. You can go ahead. Basically, we have 3 service pillars that we deliver and have delivered in Sarnia and Lambton County since 1988. The first is repayable loan funding to business founders and entrepreneurs of up to $300,000. That can be from anything from purchasing a business, purchasing property, purchasing equipment. It could be for cash flow or operating expenses. We tend to have a bit higher risk tolerance than banks. That allows us to support entrepreneurs, again, at the grassroots level. We're character lenders. So where conventional banks and financial institutions would be really the bottom of that 5 C's of lending triangle would be collateral. The bottom for us is character. We are happy to take a chance on businesses where maybe others won't. So funding is one stream, coaching is the next, and that's business service support across the whole life cycle of a business. From I've got a really good idea and I want to talk to somebody about whether it has legs to I need help with a business plan. I might need some assistance with financial literacy, and at the other end of it might be succession planning. And that's specifically what we're going to circle back to. But that third service stream is community economic development. We do that through our new Community Futures grants. We support through the college and the YMCA, youth entrepreneurship initiatives, and others through the chamber. But I wanted, with that little bit of context, to stop and talk to you a little bit about our sister organization, Community Futures in Aurelia in Simcoe County. Because about 4 years ago, they got a bag full of money from the Trillium Foundation, and they used that money to develop a business transitions program that would allow them to better offer support to businesses who were selling their businesses and folks who wanted to buy a business. And you can probably make the jump to the next one. And in that regard, they branded it as BizLink. And in 2020 to 2023, during their funding period from the Trillium Foundation, they tracked very closely what their success rate was. And then they have continued to deliver the BizLink program in 24 and in 25. In this year, Community Futures in Western Ontario, you remember that second slide where I told you about 20 other offices in Western Ontario, we all raised our voices to say, this is a very scalable program and we'd like to have access to it as well. So that's the program I'm here to talk to you about today. And to give you a bit of information on the metrics that are on the screen. The first three are interesting, but probably the money shot of the numbers on the screen would be in those 3 years during that they were funded by the Trillium Foundation, they were able to successfully support 75 business transitions in Simcoe County. That is and those numbers are remarkable. We'll circle back to those shortly. And as we finish out 2025, they reckon they'll be have delivered between 95 and 100 business transitions. And when I say a transition, that might mean Bob's Hardware was bought out and continued as Bob's Hardware. Bob's Hardware was sold and became Mike's Hardware, or Bob's Hardware, the decision was made to liquidate and cease business operations. So their support would have been in all three of those scenarios. So if we take that number of 75, just the number during the control period, that 2020 to 2023, the amount of money that represented being retained in Simcoe County was close to $75 million. It represented keeping just over 335 FTEs or full-time positions in play. And if one imagines that a dollar kept in a community turns 3 or 4 or 5 times, you can see on the screen what that would have meant to keeping businesses open in Simcoe County. And if we then look at the Canadian Federation of Independent Business and what they're doing or what they're saying about business transition, and these are the numbers that really start to stir the pot. If 60% of business owners currently in Canada are over the age of 50, and of the 1.2 odd million small businesses in Canada, 76% of them have indicated that they plan to exit their business in the next 10 years. That's over 900,000 businesses. And only 1 in every 10 of those business owners has a succession plan, has a plan to exit. So if we extrapolate that data and put it in a Sarnia-Lambton context, and this is taking numbers from SLEP, there's just under 3,500 businesses in Sarnia and Lambton County right now, and about just over 97% of them are termed as small business, and that would be businesses under 99 employees. So that's just over 3,400 businesses. And if you use the data from the CFIB that I shared with you, and 76% of those will exit in the next 10 years, that's almost 2,600 businesses. And again, if you extrapolate the data, only 260 of them have a plan. We thought those numbers were pretty important to share with you. And we really believe that preparation is everything. We find when folks come in currently to us to talk about succession planning, we often get people saying, you know, I thought I'd retire next year. And really that runway needs to be 2 to 3 years long to prepare your business for sale, to make sure no money is left on the table, to make sure that your business is, if it's the curb appeal, if you like, is maximized, and that you have a super sales package. Also, there's things like tax implications that are significant, professional support, accounting support. Certainly the financials that you might give to a new buyer, this is my tax returns for the last few years. Well, what you're trying to do is minimize your tax, not showcase the value of your business. These are the sorts of things that having that extra bit of time to prepare offer. And what the folks in Aurelia and Simcoe County were able to do with the BizLink program is to create a confidential online a service that would allow Bob's Hardware in downtown Sarnia or in downtown Watford to either list themselves as Bob's Hardware or a hardware store in Warwick Township, and allow the community futures in that particular geography to support them, to make sure they had a super package put together to maximize the sale of their business. And then when someone indicates an interest in purchasing that business, it pops up on the community futures radar to allow them to be able to see if they're a bona fide buyer, and potentially, because that's what we do, to offer financial support or offer post-sale support in terms of a business plan or financial literacy or whatever that might look like. So with the scaling of BizLink to all of the community futures offices in Western Ontario, as that starts to roll out in January of next year, we will then see what is close to the first to market in Ontario of a confidential and anonymous online portal that connects business buyers and business sellers. And it's offered with wraparound services by Community Futures that folks might need in order to make that happen. So next slide. So what I'm here with such excitement to tell you about today is that BizLink, which is this confidential intake and matchmaking tool that's got marketing tools and an opportunity for business listings, that comes with us being able to connect folks as required to accountants and lawyers and valuators if that's necessary. Certainly the wraparound programming and financing if they need it, and to do appropriate succession planning. We're really excited to say we're rolling that out in January of next year. I wanted to come before you today to tell you about this, but also because I think that there is great learning in the data that I've shared with you. That I remember in a previous role where I was at the forefront of affordable housing 10 to 12 years ago, we were saying to provincial and federal governments, you have to pay attention to this. Affordable housing is going to hit us hard, and it's going to hit us in a hurry if we don't pay attention. And 10 to 12 years later, this is what we're faced with. This, I think, folks, is another one of those situations. I hope today not only to let you know about what we're doing, but also to elevate the conversation within our Lambton County communities about the fact that this is happening and that we need to start talking to one another about succession planning and start to emphasize that it's a long game. It's a long game piece, and that there are resources out there to support. So thank you so much, Mayor and Council, for you allowing me to come before you today. With that, ask me anything, I'd happily answer.
Great. Thank you very much for your presentation. We very much appreciate it. Did anybody have any questions for our guest today? Yes, Deputy Mayor Kallenberg.
Was this program just for traditional business? We're in a pretty large agricultural center. Would it include agriculture at all with their businesses?
Absolutely, sir. I mean, I believe running a business of any sort is running a business. And what one would need to appropriately package that business for sale doesn't change. There is elements in the wraparound services that have been developed and honed as they've gone along by the Aurelia Group that do speak to family businesses passing down to folks within the same family or outside the family as well. And certainly there's application of that in a rural setting.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Councillor Morris.
Yeah, I gotta put this on Stephanie a little bit, pick on her. Is there a way to get this information, a little bit of information about BizLink? I hate to make this saying a link on our social web sites that people can get a hold of this information, because I think it's great.
Thank you so much. And I want you to know with great sincerity that as soon as that link's available, I will be ringing a very large bell and reaching out to colleagues like Steph and my other economic development partners across Lambton County to say, here's what it is. To give you a sense of that, you will see Western Ontario and us as part of it, but a selection on that broader link will bring you into us. We will also within our website have a link that would take anyone interested there. So there's a bit of reciprocity there. But to answer your question, yes, we'll be very certain to make sure that y'all are aware of that.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? Seeing none? No? Other questions? Got a comment? Oh, yep.
My question is, Sarah, do you have a contact for estate planning? Because you're talking about long-term tax implications and Sarnia has a few in there. I was just wondering, do you have contacts? If not, reach out.
I will, and thank you so much for that. I mean, our where we are right now, the beta testing for the actual interface with the website is happening right now. We are amping up our training around a manual that's about this thick in terms of all the resources that are available. We are in the midst now of hiring designated staff to look after the rollout of BizLink, and part of that is establishing a network of just those sorts of individuals who are up to speed on what this program will be about, that as necessary, we can connect folks to them.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you very much for the presentation. We look forward to seeing more, and you can work with Stephanie as suggested, and we'll do our part to roll this out and try to get as many people involved as possible. So thank you very much. Appreciate the
So
presentation.
very grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Council, we're going to go to our third delegation today, and it says Bill Shea and Mac Parker. I do recognize, of course, we all recognize former Mayor Mac Parker, and they're here today to talk to us about the Forest Curling Club, and they have a request. Mac, if you'd be so kind to come up here and yeah, please, both of you gentlemen.
My speech is really short.
No, that's good. So basically, gentlemen, all you need to do is to hit the button. I'll let you guys get situated. Okay, no, go ahead, have a seat. So all you need to do is hit the button, Mac, and then you're good to go. So what we're going to do is we'll turn it over to you to make your remarks, and we received the presentation, the paper presentation. The floor is yours, sir. Please go ahead.
Thanks to Mayor Case for allowing us to come in today. And I just want to go around the table and introduce the councilors for Bill here. It's Joe Manning and John Kalmberg and Jerry Westgate and Wayne Morris. I want to thank you all for hopefully listening and being kind to us. I want to start with the fact that I started curling in Watford on the Reen ice back a few years. And we had one night of curling, and I'm sure it cost the municipality quite a bit just to set the thing up for that. And it was a real nuisance for them too. And the fact that the ice, everybody should learn curl on arena ice, because you got the negative, you got lots of curl, and it can be negative. And at this time, right now, and I want to say something to both Lloyd Moffat and Lyle. Got my wife and I involved in curling, and I think it was around probably the start of the 80s and through the 90s. And present time, I've got 3 kids, grandkids curling at Forest. And my son curls there. And Bill here are probably into the senior league now, are we?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
One of us is an Ontarian.
Anyway, at this time, I'd like Bill Shea to go through this presentation with me. And he said that I could handle the easy questions and he would handle the tough ones. So I agreed with him.
Okay, thanks, Mac, and thank you for having me here. I'm a member of the projects that's going to replace our ice plant at the curling club. And so I just like to take you on a short tour of the curling club. I think you have pretty much all the documentation that I'm going to present came ahead of time. We'll talk about the project again, and then we'll talk about cost and funding. And how do I get to the next slide?
No,
Oh, next slide, please.
everything's looked after for you here, Bill.
So our vision, and this has been our vision since back in 2005, is to develop and maintain a curling facility that can both be a recreational and a social asset for all residents of Lambton County. We've stuck to that now for over 20 years, and it seems to be working well for us. On to the next one. Thought I'd take you on that is the result of our addition back in 2017. We got our own sign, and that is the new building. On the right corner there, you can see where the old Forest Arena was. It left the last summer, and we'll go on to the next slide. This is what we're trying to replace. It came with the curling club in 1971. It's over 50 years old. It served us well, but as they say, the buy before date has passed. I didn't get that out right. Can we go on to the next slide? This is the power board that needs to be updated and replaced, and it'll look a lot neater after we're done. Right now, we were told by the people that come in to bid in the project that we're out of sync with the safety record or safety procedures. So not surprising after 50 years. Next slide. That's where the new ice plant is going to go. To our surprise, everyone that came to bid on the project put forward the plan for an outside plant. So that's going to go to the backside. Yeah, we were surprised at that, to tell you the truth. Next slide. And this is our Thursday morning jitneys. We have a lot of seniors in the club. You probably have the exact data. We run 2 draws a day, 4 days a week they're for everybody, but during the day, it's seniors that come join us. This is the Thursday morning jitney, and I'm sure all you can recognize Betty Manili down there on sheet number 1. Next slide, please. We are financially sound. We have no debt. We have $125,000 to put towards the project. We've been doing well. I was on the board back in 2005 and 6, so I remember the number we had, and our goal was to get from 160 to 200, and we thought that was really going to be difficult. Today, this year, we have 380 and still counting. So it's been quite a success. The secret of this has been the volunteering. We've kept the membership costs low, but we ask each member to volunteer 12 hours a year to it. In bartending, we have 70 of our members with Smart Serve, can work behind our bar. The kitchen help is amazing. They have a meal for every bonspiel we have. I was attended one this morning, and it was 4 men that produced the lunch. I was just a little bit nervous about that, but it turned out very well. The seniors organize and run our leagues during the day. They put the teams together, they organize the leagues. It works out very well. Amazing number of our youth program. I had the number here. I think it's just north of 30 people, members volunteer to work with our youth program on Sunday mornings. They have 72, I think. I don't know how they get them all on. Well, they have different ice times. The one thing I learned when I started asking questions about a youth program, they now got a program set up where they have mini bonspiels with Chatham, Ridgetown, Glencoe, and one other club in the south, where these kids that are 14 to 17 get to experience the bonspiel. I'm really impressed with that program. Next slide. This is last year's numbers, and this is where our membership comes from. You can see there Warwick has 11.2%. And you're going to ask me, I'm sure, is why am I going to Sarnia to talk to Sarnia Council? And the answer is no. They have
understand. I understand, Mr.
Just stop there. Yeah, 11.2% come from Warwick. I think that number is not gonna move much this year. I know of two people that left Warwick to move to Forest, but I curled with one new member from Warwick this fall, so we're pretty much in the ballpark. Carry on. Next slide, please. Our current, I've told you, the current ice plant is 50 years old. We brought in a specialist or somebody that knows about ice plants last summer, and they told us that we would get a 50% savings in energy costs with a new ice plant. Last year, we estimated that our ice plant cost us $30,000 in electricity, so that translates into a $15,000 savings. Our maintenance costs, we're scared to death every year when we go start it up. This year, we were lucky, it was only $1,500. The year before that, it was $5,000. The real risk we got is on the bottom point there, is that if we have a failure during the curling season where we have to go out and get a new ice plant, we're gonna lose that season, we're gonna lose the membership, and we're gonna have a bunch of membership fees that people might want their money back. We're definitely afraid of getting that. We suffered through some of that with COVID, and that was not a pleasant experience, so we're trying to stay away from that. Next slide, please. The outside plant, as I told you, is gonna be outside. The main savings comes from the fact that it's gonna be 3 compressors and not one. It's gonna be controlled by a laptop computer, so we can control whether we need 1 compressor to get to where we want to be, or 3 compressors when we're starting the ice up in the fall. This computer will keep track of the usage of the compressors and balance their workload over time. Our ice technician will be able to alter the ice conditions remotely and can get down to 1/10 of a degree of change. There's not very many of us at that curling club will recognize the difference of 1/10 of a degree, believe me, but we're gonna have it. We will require a 27 by 10, 4-inch thick concrete pad to be installed. And we got a bunch of electrical work to fix the power board. And we also have to run cable from our dehumidifier and 2 furnaces that are out in above the ice surface to get that to the computer so we can control better what's going on. And we'll need a security fence after we're all done. Moving on to the next slide. We did go out and we got bids for the ice plant, the electrical work, concrete pad, and security fence. The costs you see there are the ones that came out first. They were the lowest cost in all cases. We were having to operate via the Lambton Shores rules for bidding because we were going after a Lambton Vibrancy Fund grant. So that's all in all cases, we did end up picking the lowest bidder. The total cost for the project is $337,561, excluding HST. Because we were a nonprofit, eventually we'll get that HST back. Although I think it's going to make for some dicey work on the accounting people next fall to keep this floating. We added a 10% contingency because all those bids came in last July or last June, and we don't expect those costs to stay the same. Our funding target then is $371,317. Next slide, please. Today, we have the $125,000 of our money. The Lambton Shores Vibrancy Fund has approved a grant for 1/3 of the project, $112,500. Forest Community Foundation has contributed $30,000. Sunset Foundation, which is the Grand Bend equivalent of the Forest Community Foundation. I think it was put in place when they sold their PUC back in 2000. We have $5,000 for them. We are now approaching local municipalities, service clubs, and businesses to try and get us the rest of the way there. We are looking at other granting agency applications, and we may be applying if we see that they make a fit. So as we speak, I think we're running, we have got some money back from service clubs and businesses. We've added, I think it's the number $16,000 above the numbers you're seeing there that we've taken in. And we're moving on to try to get to 371. Next slide, please. We were asking the Warwick Council for $20,000 to help fund the new ice plant. And I know somebody's going to ask me, how did you get to the number $20,000? Oh, I ran into Lonnie Napper at and first of all, he said, make sure you ask for a lot. And I don't think he would have said that when he was still mayor. But he says, it's always cheaper for a municipality to support a project that's going on in another municipality as instead of taking ownership. I also asked, Lambton, staff at Lambton Shores for, how do you do this? And they gave me 4 options. First 2 I couldn't understand. The one that did make sense to me was that you should look at the population of the municipalities versus like Lambton Shores, Plimpton, Wyoming, and Warwick. And then you should also consider the number of curlers that come from Plimpton, Wyoming, and Lambton Shores. I sort of did that and subjectively picked a number and then wound it down a bit. And that's how I got to 20,000. That's the end of my presentation. I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to be here today. And are there any questions? Please have. And then Mac gets the hard ones and I get the easy.
Well, thank you, Mr. Shea, Mr. Parker, for your presentation. A very well done one, I might add. Does anybody have any questions to our presenters today? It's very timely, and I'm sure it's not a coincidence. Mac, with his experience, we're going to be getting into budget here shortly. I may suggest to council today that we refer this to our budget discussions. If council would like to do that, that's coming up. I think our initial presentation of the budget is December 9th. So it's very timely, but I'll ask council what they would like to do with this presentation this time.
First of all, thank you for your presentation. That was excellent. Have you had any luck with Plimpton, Wyoming and Lambton Shores yet?
Lambton Shores, the Vibrancy Fund, we grant 120 or 112,500.
So that's from the municipality?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Quite frankly, they've been almost, you think they're part of the fundraising team, their staff, and answering our sometimes silly questions to get us through this. So they've been very helpful.
I'd like to make a motion that we forward this to the budget deliberations for December 9th, please.
Very good.
I didn't quite finish your question about Plimpton, Wyoming.
Oh.
They have a grant sort of entry fee, or where you fill. We have submitted that form and it's been accepted. And I think it's going through the same process there to their budget. And I think they're a little bit later than you people.
Okay.
They're in January, I think.
Yes. You might want to have Mr. Napper call Mr. Atkinson, the mayor of Plimpton, Wyoming, and suggest he puts the same kind of bug in their ear, perhaps. Absolutely. Do we have a seconder to Councillor Morris? Councillor Manning is seconding that. All in favor? That is carried. So gentlemen, thank you very much. Well done. And we'll be in touch and we'll go through the deliberations and let you know how we make out. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you. Okay, council, we're going to go to D. And we have Al Rosina, who's here today to talk about parking signs on Confederation. Al, if you'd be so kind. So we'll have you come up here to the corner. And we'll give you a little instruction on how to utilize the microphone. So we'll let you get set up and ready. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll just, all you need to do is hit the button. So like I say, we're a pretty informal group here, and this is your opportunity to speak to the issue that obviously that's concerned you for some time. So the floor is yours, sir. You hit the button and you can make your presentation. Thanks very much, Al. Perfect. It's red, you can go.
Okay, so I have concerns about vehicles parking on both sides of the road on Confederation in front of my house, directly in front of my house. I've had many times I couldn't even get in and out of my driveway. I have many pictures showing like they're right on the edge of my driveway. Dump truck parked on each side of my driveway. So I called Todd and Kyle to come and scope this situation out and to see if I could get some signs placed for people not to be parking there on both sides of the road. It is a residential area and they shouldn't be in there. And then there's other spots there too, in between my place and Lambton Mutual. There's a sign that went down, it's missing. And people pull in there because it's convenient, more convenient for them to pull in there than it is Tim Hortons parking lot, because some of them have bigger trucks too. But you look, the parking lot is empty. There's a lot of guys go in there with trucks or whatever, but it's more convenient for them guys just to slide off the side of the road, almost on the sidewalk. It's all rutted. Yeah, it's more convenient for them to park on the side of the road. So we got to the point where we had a meeting, Todd and Kyle. So we're gonna place the signs and this went on since May until now. And I ran into some more issues there with parking again. So it was in July. I left it till July and I came in to talk to Kyle directly in here to ask him like, what's going on? Like, are we moving forward with this? And he got at that time, like he was probably very busy and kind of dropped the ball a little bit, I think. But I'm not blaming the man for it because I know he is busy. And this is a simple matter, really. So we got it set up to where we're going to place 3 signs on the north side of my road. And I also have 2 already placed on my side of the road. Like I need them to be moved so that actually I could have on each side of my driveway so nobody's actually can park a vehicle in between there and my driveway. Because I need to get in and out of there. Because again, where I worked, we backed in pickups or whatever because people were wrecking vehicles. So I follow that same rule today. And it's actually good because there's times I backed out of there and almost got hit because I couldn't see. It's not the big sign. The big sign is actually a good thing there. So I'm not going to get into the other parts of it. I just want this to get done and get these signs moved too. So, and then if there's any other issues about that, I got answers for it, but I don't want to go into that. I just want this done. Like, I don't want to cause any trouble or anything. I just want 3 signs on the north side, and I have 2 signs on my side need to be moved. And there is limitations on your signage, like there's 30 feet and there's 70 feet. Well, that falls in the limits of the 70 feet, or the 30 feet. And then encroaching on the road. Okay, there's a measurement of 2 meters off the edge of the road. That's where signs are supposed to be placed. So there's no liability is what I'm getting at. But if you look at your new information sign, it's actually encroaching on that 2 meter mark. Parking signs are actually closer to my house than that sign is to the road. So again, I don't want to get in any things like who and what or whatever. I just want to get this done so I can get rid of those traffic cones in front of my house because they've been there since that road was built. That's my issues.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Rosina, for your presentation. And yes, there are, and I've seen the pictures where people have blocked off your laneway, and nobody should have their laneway blocked off and everything. But what I'm going to do, Kyle, you've got a couple ideas around this. Maybe if you would mind sharing with council a couple of the ideas you have to deal with this issue and try to make it work better for folks like Mr. Rosina, if you would be so kind.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank Al. He gave me a heads up on Friday that I was coming and talk about it. I know we disagree slightly on the solution, but I appreciate that the courtesy he gave me ahead of time to prepare for this. So I'd like to start with saying thank you to that. And to acknowledge that I did drop the ball on the north side. We did talk earlier in the year and the signs have not been placed yet. We've initiated the locates for the north side. So that is ongoing. Those signs should be up very soon. On the south side of the road, I looked to the solution to encompass our intersection improvement. I would like to extend barrier curb out past the work zone where we are going to improve the intersection and basically have barrier curb extended to almost Warwick Street on the south side and just past the Tim Hortons parking lot on the north side. That would allow us to clearly delineate the traveled path. And using the traffic manuals as guidance, we can bring signs closer to the barrier curb than we can currently because we don't have any curb along that path. So the 2 meter limitation is our restriction. We have to allow for a vehicle to safely come to a stop in that path. So I look to it. My proposed solution is to wait till we get barrier curb installed, and that would physically delineate the boulevard from the traveled path and have no parking signs within 30 centimeters of the barrier curb as opposed to 2 meters of the traveled path.
Does council have any questions at all? Councillor Westgate.
Yes, Kyle, if you're
putting the barrier curb up, we're not putting any parking along there, are we? Or we just the curb?
It would be no parking still. We would just use barrier curb to clearly delineate where the travel roadway is and the boulevard starts. And we're allowed to bring signs closer to the barrier curb than we can without curb installed.
But right now, since it's gonna be probably this time next year when that whole project gets done, can we get some signs up there for the winter or for a while?
Yeah, so on the north side, we were adding 3 signs. On the south side, there already is signs. The request is to move them again.
Closer to the road, is that?
To realign them with the driveway.
Okay, so you're just gonna put the no parking signs each side of his driveway, so.
My preference was to not do the south side work. It was just to add signs to the north side and replace the sign that's missing by Lambton Mutual. I don't want to move the signs because we can't impose blocking traffic with them. You're just moving them laterally. My recommendation is to not move the signs, to install barrier curb and then move signs closer to the curb when we get that project completed. I realize it is a longer time frame than just moving signs, but that's what my proposal was.
Yeah, I should have had a look at it before I come up. I didn't. But no, we could look at that after anyway.
So one of the discussions we had when we met on site, Mr. Rosina, was there's signage out there in some communities that says private lane, do not block. And that was something that we talked about as well. I mean, it's maybe being a solution. I do like the long-term solution that you propose, Kyle. I think it makes sense. But at the same time, I mean, I know you've been working through this and we just try to find as much relief as we can, but we also understand there's, regulations and so on too. But maybe, I guess maybe I'll get you to comment on the no blocking the lane sign, and because we had that discussion back when we met, and just explain how that works, if you would be so kind.
So we have a sign bylaw where if there's a sign that's going to be within the road allowance, it requires written approval from council prior to installation. So if there was a custom private sign, it would have to be presented there. A sketch or a concept would need to be presented to identify what it looks like, size and location prior to being installed within the road allowance.
Fair enough. I appreciate the clarification on that. Okay, so any other questions today? Yes, Councillor Manning.
This is more of a comment than a question, but kind of a question, I guess. But I'm just wondering if we could put a push on the people that are supposed to be enforcing these, because they'll tell you, like, I drive by that corner and it's not just that one spot, it's that whole corner. And I've seen multiple signs with the pylons, with the big signs, and I see multiple trucks parked right in front of them or pushing them over. I'm a firm believer that signs are only as good as enforcement, so I'd like to see if we can find out which branch that we're looking at and get some follow-up, because with winter coming, it's just gonna get more dangerous there.
Just will comment on that. We use the County of Lambton for the enforcement aspect. I think it has improved, but there's still some improvement that could be had. That's a very, very fair comment. So I guess maybe we can work with staff and contact the county. We've done that. We've been trying to get more enforcement there as well. And we could do that. That's a good point as well, Councillor. Anybody else have any questions for now? So I guess to be able to give Mr. Rosny what he needs is we would have to there would have to be a motion of council, or at least ask for a report. Would probably be better on the cost and the ability to put that sign in front of that with the no blocking the lane. It seems like a reasonable request, being that he's got pictures that supports that. I'm just wondering if that's something that we could get a report back on, just to see. I do like the long term. I like the long term, but I would also wouldn't mind knowing what we're looking at to put a sign like that up and the restrictions around potentially doing it, the liabilities around doing it. But I'd like to maybe ask for a report, and I'll make that motion. I don't do that very often, the chair, that we ask for that report to come back if I get a seconder. And then at least we understand what we're dealing with if somebody'd like to second it, seconded by Councillor Westgate. Any further discussion? All in favor? Yes, Alan, go ahead. It's okay.
So they're not gonna move the signs on the south side, so that means those big cones are gonna be staying there for another year.
I'm not a fan of construction cones coming into our community, and I don't think anybody else here is, but maybe we can make that part of the discussion as well. At the end of the day, we'll talk about the cones as well. I know Kyle's put some work into this, and let's bring something back. And when we bring it back, Al, what we'll do is we'll invite you back. So we'll make sure that you're aware that we're talking about it, and that way you can make a comment if you'd like to as well, if that seems fair to you. Yep, go ahead.
But it's very simple, just to move two no parking signs. One way or the other, and they're there, it's not costly at all, just need to be moved so that. Cause on the, I guess it'd be the east side. The sign is back far enough, my driveway's here, but the sign's over here, you can still park a vehicle in there between that and my driveway, and that's what I mean, I need that one moved over. And it's still within what they recommend, 30 feet. Sorry.
No, and I understand that. That will be part of what's brought back for the discussions. So we'll hopefully we can get, I don't know, don't want to put a timeline on it because there's a lot going on, but we'll notify you when that report is complete. Hopefully we can have it back sooner than later and we can talk about it and we'll go from there. So I'll call the question. All in favor of the report? That's carried. Very good. Thank you. All right. Anything else, Al, before? Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in and we'll be in touch. And we'll see if we can't make this work better because there's nothing worse than having your laneway blocked. I get that. So thank you very much for coming in today.
Please make sure you leave the cones there until these signs are done, because I will freak out when people are blocking my driveway. I'll run them over.
I don't think there's any intent to remove those cones at this time. Kyle? Good. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in. Okay, council. Council, I'm going to take everybody to 11 on the agenda. 11A is the GL report. Does anybody have any questions on the GL report? Questions on the GL report? Seeing none. Does anybody have any questions on the accounts payable? Accounts? The accounts payable. Okay, very good. I would entertain a motion to approve both the GL report and the accounts payable if council saw fit. Councillor Manning is making that motion, seconded by Deputy Mayor Kallenberg. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We're going to go to the consent agenda if we could. Did anybody have any questions on the non-action correspondence? 12A. Councillor Westgate.
There was just one thing in the road superintendent's magazine about Park Hill, about the sludge being removed from their lagoon. Since we're gonna be looking at that, I wondered if somebody could have a talk with them and see how much, excuse me, it costs and how easy it was to do.
So Kyle, are you good with having that conversation and treating it as like an action request today?
Yeah, I'll follow up with North Middlesex to see their costs and what they can share with us on that project.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have anything on the non-action correspondence for today? Seeing none. Anybody have any questions on B, the Heritage Historical Committee meeting minutes? Seeing none. Okay, I would entertain a motion to receive and file both A and B, if council saw fit. Councillor Morris is making it. Councillor Westgate is seconding it. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Let's go to 13 if we could, folks. Let's go to action correspondence. We have none, so that was an easy one for today. Let's go to the next piece, 13B, and there's a recommendation at 13B to deal with Churchill Line. And the recommendation is that Warwick Township Council directs staff to advise the municipality of Brook Alvinston on the proposed 2026-2030 rehabilitation of Churchill Line. How does council wish to deal with this particular piece of business? Councillor Morris.
One question, Kyle, do we have any kind of a cost estimate here, or what the whole project's gonna cost?
Thank you. We're currently getting that estimate configured by Spreet. Part of the issue is half the roads are typically not within our study area. We're going from Forest to Sexton Road with this 5-year proposal and having a cost for the full length broken out over each year. So it will be available in time for budget deliberations.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there definitely needs to be some improvements on that road. Just drove it the other day again. Okay, so there is a recommendation. I've read the recommendation. How does council wish to deal with the recommendation? Moved by Councillor Morris, seconded by Deputy Mayor Kallenberg. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Let's go to 13C if we can. And this is to do with the Smith Hollingsworth Drain abandonment. And there's a recommendation that Warwick Township Council rejects the request to abandon the segment of the Smith Hollingsworth Drain, and that council accepts the section 78 petition for major improvement of the Smith Hollingsworth Drain. So that is the recommendation. Any questions on that recommendation? How does council wish to proceed with the recommendation? Moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Manning. Any further discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Let's go to D if we can. And this is a petition for drainage works for Lucan Drain, And the recommendation is that Warwick Township Council hereby approves the recommendation from the drainage superintendent to proceed with improvements to the Lucas Drain. Should say Lucas at the first, it says Lucan, but the Lucas Drain under section 78 of the Drainage Act. And that after 30 days notice to the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, a new report be prepared by Spreet and Associates before the work can proceed. How does council wish to deal with this particular item? Councillor Manning? Moved by Councillor Manning, seconded by Councillor Morris. Any further discussion on this one? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to E if we could. Petition for drainage works for the Vance drain. And that the recommendation is that Warwick Township Council hereby approves the recommendation from the drainage superintendent to proceed with improvements to the Vance drain and award the Vance drain under the section 4 of the Drainage Act. And that after 30 days notice to the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, a new report be prepared by Spreet's Associates before the work can proceed. How does council wish to deal with this particular one? Councillor Westgate? Thank you. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Kallenberg. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Is there any new business for council today? Seeing none? Okay. So that ends the open portion of our meeting today. Thanks to everybody who watched today's proceedings. I'm now going to ask for a motion to move into the camera meeting pursuant to section 239, the Municipal Act of 2001 is amended for the following reasons. Number 2, a matter regarding personal matters about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Could I have a motion, please? Councillor Morris, second by Councillor Manning. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you.